Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And when it's Thanksgiving, you know what that means, at least on this channel. It means we're dropping a turkey to try and catch some Thanksgiving crabs. This is kind of my tradition that I've been doing every Thanksgiving, dropping down one of these full turkeys. Well, I'm gonna cut it up first. One time I think I did actually drop it down still whole. That didn't work out so well. So now what I've done is I've cut it up into pieces. I have 4 hoop nets behind me. I'm gonna distribute it somewhat evenly amongst those 4 hoop nets. We'll drop them down. Hopefully we catch some crab and have some crab for Thanksgiving dinner. So I need 4 bait cages worth. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the thighs off, or the legs off, and then the thighs, then the wings, and then yeah, maybe I'll just put the rest into the last net. So I already took this out yesterday so that it would be somewhat unfrozen. That's one thing I've learned over the years. Makes things easier. Still a little frozen, but definitely not as bad as some of the years I've come out and do this. All right, so first cage, in goes a thigh and a leg. The leg's gonna stick out a little bit, that's okay. Just like that. Second cage, in goes a wing, and there's the other wing, another wing. Number 3, in goes another thigh and another leg. This stuff might be some of the best bait of them all because it's definitely got the most juice and blood and stuff. So let's just put one. I don't even know what that is. Maybe a piece of the heart, maybe the liver. Just put a little bit in each cage. And then the 4th one, I'm going to use this bag. So all this stuff is from Pro Marl, the bait cages and crabbing gear. And there's a ton of different ways you can do it. You can use the cages, you can use these nets. They have different size nets, different size cages. But I brought this one today because I know I'm gonna have a lot of, that wouldn't fit in a cage. So there goes that. Looks like the back or something. The butt and the neck. That's all gonna go in one. So we'll shut that tight. That's ready to go. We're all baited up. Now we can start dropping our gear. Nobody out here today. The launch was a little bit bigger than I'd like, but it was definitely doable. And we're gonna get to do it actually a few times today. Kind of unfortunately, I'll get to that in a second, but let's get our gear in here. All scoped out. Now we're gonna take our harness, attach it to our first net, like so. Our first bait cage in the net. Not gonna lie, it's a little bumpy this morning. Feeling it just a little bit. So I'm hoping to get these down as quickly as possible so I can look at the horizon. But okay, first one. Make sure we're in a good spot. This should be good. All right, going down. Second one, going down. Number 3, going down. Last but not least, number 4, with all the scraps, going down. Shout out to the sponsor of today's video, LiTime. So if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know that most of my kayak fishing adventures are now done on battery-powered kayaks. I have a couple of different models. I got this one right here that's a pedal assist kayak. I also have one that's got a motor on it. And when these kayaks first started coming out, we were pretty much confined to one size of battery, which is a 100 amp hour 12 volt battery. Great most of the time, almost all of my fishing adventures, I haven't had any issues, but we just recently had salmon season here in the Bay Area for the first time in quite a while. And because when we're trolling for salmon, we're constantly running the motor at a high rate of speed. When we're running the kayaks, if you're running it at a 10 out of 10, it drains the battery infinitely, well not infinitely, exponentially faster than if you're running it at half speed or even 3/4 speed. Because of that, I need to increase the capacity of the battery that I use for these kayaks. Because of the new technology with these lithium-ion batteries, you can actually get larger capacities now with the same form factor. So at the same size that I used to have a 100 amp hour battery, I now have this one, a 12 volt 165 amp hour battery, and this is going to increase my capacity by 66%. So the last time I took this kayak out salmon fishing, trolling all day, I think it lasted about 4 or 5 hours until the battery died, and that was with 100 amp hours. So now with this one, it should last 8 or 9 hours, no problem. So as you can see, this is the battery box that we use for this kayak. And the battery just slides right in just like that. It's the exact same size as what we used to have for a 100 amp hour battery. And the system's super easy. You just connect the terminals there, throw the lid on, and then this plugs right into the kayak. Super easy power system. Keep running all day. So whether you're upgrading to a higher capacity like I am, or if you're just getting started and need to get a battery to power your kayak, now is the perfect time to get one from LiTime. With all the Black Friday sales going on currently, is the cheapest prices of the year. I think this is the first time ever of all the turkey drops that I've done, it's the first time that I'm actually still looking for my first crabs of the season. So I came out on opening day and I had a really tough day. I don't know, I didn't focus on crab as much as I should have, but two, I don't know, I thought I would still at least catch one keeper, but didn't go home with any. So hopefully today, I didn't bring any fishing rods, so hopefully we can focus solely on crab, and hopefully it'll pay off with hopefully a limit, but at least a few keepers to get me off of the zero list for the year. One mistake that I forgot that I realized halfway out here is that I forgot my crab gauge. So it's in the car. I'm gonna paddle in, get that, and then we'll come back, check the nets. By then they'll have been down there for, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, something like that. So hopefully plenty of time for crabs to crawl in there. So, all right, let's go get our gauge and come back. All right, crab gauge acquired, we're back out. And I did a little test this time. I tried to see if I can come out and find my crab stuff without any GPS or anything. And this is why it's super important to mark it on some type of GPS. There's even free apps you can get on your phone, so there's really no excuse not to have it marked. And I came out here, I literally have no idea. It's not like it's any crazy route. I'm just paddling straight out, but with the currents, the winds, you know, it pushes you different directions, and with the swell up and down like this, it's really hard to locate your buoys. They look exactly like seagulls just floating on the top of the water. So I'm gonna go ahead and check my GPS now. I don't even know if I went past them. Maybe I haven't got out far enough yet. I'm not totally sure, but let's see on the GPS. I went right past them. I'm out like an extra, I don't know, couple hundred yards, I think, in that direction. So let's go find them. Hopefully we got some crab brewing. Oh, and one more thing, I promised a safety refresher. So really quickly, before we even get to the crab gear, let me just tell you, especially if you're new to kayak fishing, listen up, because this is super important. Kayak fishing is growing in popularity, which is great, but you have to remember, especially out in the ocean, it's dangerous, to say the least. I'm not going to spend too much time today. If you're looking for safety gear advice, don't use this as a guide, just, you know, do some more research. But really quickly, I would say the 3 most important things that you need to have with you when you're coming kayaking out on the ocean is number one is PFD, which most of you hopefully already have heard that from someone else or somewhere at some point. You got to have this. You really want to think worst case scenario. So what's the worst case scenario? Maybe my kayak just like explodes, and, or, you know, the motor could catch fire or something, and so the entire kayak just sinks to the bottom. In that case, I need to be able to float, and that brings me to number 2, which is a wetsuit. So I don't even know the exact model. I know it's made by NRS, but this is a really nice wetsuit. It's a little more expensive, but since I come so often, I like to have something that's going to be comfortable. So yeah, that's number 2. And then number 3 is this radio right here. So like today, I'm out here by myself. I haven't seen a single other boat or kayak. So in that worst case scenario, if I'm just out here floating, I need to be able to call someone. And it's important to have it on you, just in case something happens and you can't get to it in time before it sinks or you're separated from your kayak or whatever happens. Having it on you is really important. And I know personally, I will say I'm not the best at carrying the radio on me, but I'm gonna try to make it a point from here on out to, you know, keep that on me, keep it on and keep it on me. Not only for myself, but also if there's other kayakers around, which there isn't today, but if there was, you know, maybe they need some help, I can go ahead and help them out via the radio. I will talk about more. If you ever have questions about kayak safety, I would say I'm fairly knowledgeable on the subject just because I've come out here hundreds of days now. Like I said, you really want to think worst case scenario, and if that happens, how are you going to get back to land or back to shore safely? So anyway, with that being said, let's go get our crab. Coming up on my first buoy here, and these have been down for about an hour so far, which is plenty of time for crab to find them if they're around and if they're hungry. And ideally, they're gonna be crawling right now because the tide is not moving as much. At least that's my theory, is that when the tide's not moving as much, they're not gonna be so concerned about getting swept in or out. They'll be more prone to getting out and starting to feed. At least we'll find out here in a second, I guess. So yeah, with these hoop nets, the best thing to do is just lift them up slow and steady. Worst thing you could do is let slack in the line and let it drop back to the bottom, because there's no lid on this net, and if they're allowed the chance, I'm sure those crabs would like to swim right on out. But hopefully we can keep everything in there. Okay, we got one. Definitely one keeper. This one's small. That's a little rock crab. That's a keeper right there. First keeper of the season. This is the crab gauge. This is what I forgot in the car this morning. But this is how you measure a crab. First, make sure he's not going to pinch me by grabbing these two claws. There's a few different ways to hold him, but that's definitely going to mobilize him right there. You can see underneath this little pointed section right here, that means it's a male. So there's 2 different points on each side, one on each side, I should say. And the way you measure it is you just get that crab gauge, lay it right up against that point, not measuring the point itself, but right in front of it. Same thing on the other side. And this one is a little over 6 inches, so really nice keeper. It's got all its legs too, pretty hard shell, which is nice. And yeah, here in California, the minimum size is 5 3/4 inches. So as long as it's bigger than that, more than welcome to keep it, male and female. But males are always preferred. They have a little bit bigger, definitely the claws are bigger. I think also the legs are a little bigger. Females, if you're desperate, I guess you can keep them. But yeah, you'll get more meat per crab if you get some males. So anyways, that's one for pot number 1. Hopefully we get some more. Let's go check the next one. Okay, I'm calling it. I think this one is gonna have the most keepers of any of the nets. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Okay. Nothing but a ton of snails. So we'll pick this one up and we'll actually move this one. See if we can shake these snails off in the water this time. Little dungy, rock crab. I guess technically that's probably a keeper, but we're looking for Dungeness today. Let's put this one up here. I'm gonna go ahead and move this one. Obviously there's no keepers in there, which isn't good, but another bad sign is that there was some rock crab. And I always think that the rock crab are just the bullies of the crabbing world. Oh, there's a dolphin. So yeah, maybe there's like just a random rock that I accidentally dropped this one next to. So I'm gonna pick it up and hopefully one of my other traps will be doing better, and then I'll drop this one next to that area. Sometimes just a small move can make all the difference. There's a bunch of these little dolphins. All right. Let's see some better numbers in this one. Hungry for crab. Okay. Oh, big one. All right. There's a female. We'll let her go. That's a beauty. Definitely keep her. And a little rock crab. We'll let him go. All right, that's the ideal crab that you're looking for right there. Super clean, super hard shell, all the legs, and it's big. About 6 1/4. I guess it's not super huge, but yeah, biggest one I've got. So looks good to me. Okay. All right. Well, no keepers in this one. Oh, female Dungeness. So look at that one. You see all those eggs in there? I don't know how many eggs they get. It's got to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions. But anyways, we'll let that go. And one more little male. All right, I guess we'll just drop this back in the same spot. At least there's some crab here. Not too many of them are rock crab. I'm gonna go drop this last one here that I wanted to move, and then we'll wait another 15 minutes or so, maybe start picking them up at like 10:30. I almost forgot. Well, there's my 2 crab that I got so far, but I also brought with me a little breakfast. We got our 2 donuts in there. Oh, I think they even, look at it, they threw in a little donut hole. A buttermilk bar, my favorite, and I think it's like a cinnamon sugar or something, vanilla, I don't know. It looks like they threw in a donut hole for me as well. So I'm gonna eat this. Hopefully this will give me some good luck for round 2. All right, here we go, round 2. I think I'm gonna go ahead and head in after this because the wind's starting to pick up here. So whatever we get, we get. Come on. What do we have here? 1 keeper. All right, that's good. That's a good outcome right there. 1 more keeper. That's 3. All right, one of my favorite parts of this whole turkey deal. Once we're done, we get to feed the rest to all the crabs down there. As I'm sure a lot of you are all eating turkey at home. Now the crabs get to join in on the festivities. Okay. There's definitely 1 keeper in here, maybe 2. Even smaller rock crab. Toss that one back. That one, pretty sure it's keeper. Maybe also a keeper. We gotta measure those 2. First one, shoot. Dang, that one's too small. I guess it's also good to show you. It'd be good to show you what a small crab looks like. So 1 notch on that side, and it goes over, it doesn't hit the side of the shell on the other side. So it needs to get to that point right there to get to 5 3/4. And that one's not, so that one's going back. Hopefully this other one's bigger. I don't know, it looks kind of similar. We will find out. One side here. Oh, that one hits. Okay, so that one's a keeper. I don't know if you can see the difference there. Not a huge one, but a keeper. So that brings us to 4. Nope. The 8th and final pull. It's good I'm going in. I don't know if my arms can take any more of this. Okay, let's see. Oh no. Nada. Man, my arms are very out of shape. And that's a wrap. Another Thanksgiving special here at Dyer Fishing with 4 nice keeper Dungeness crab going home with me for dinner. I hope all of you out there having a nice Thanksgiving, maybe watching some football, eating some turkey, and maybe if you're lucky enough, eating some crab as well. We're eating good tonight. And we'll be back again next year, most likely. As long as crabbing's open and there's turkey available, seems like I'll be out here doing it again. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. This battery right here is already 38% off. So whether you're just getting started or if you're upgrading your battery to a little bit more capacity to what you used to have, just like I am, now's the perfect time to get one of these. With the Black Friday sales that are currently going on, it's the cheapest time to get one of these batteries from LiTime. I'll have a link down in the description to this product